We are here a little early today on this, Wednesday? Yes, I'm in the car again. I'm driving. You know, I got my phone. I gotta say this every time. I got my phone hooked up on a little car thing, so if it falls, I didn't crash. Okay, but pray safe travels. But we here, man. We give the people a little bit of time to come into the room. It's gonna be a little bumpy ride, might be a little noisy because I'm driving. But I got a little extra time, so topic, man. It's gonna be a rather serious topic. I would say touchy. It's gonna be a rather touchy topic. I'm talking about body count. It doesn't matter. So now before we get going, man, I gotta put some disclaimers. I know some of the ladies gonna be in there. Gonna be like, here go another man telling a woman what she should do with her body. I'm not telling what you should do with your body, okay? You can do what you want with your body. All that good stuff. It really doesn't matter to me. This is just a discussion. It's not a dictatorship or anything like that. It's a discussion, man. And sometimes we have to talk about these sensitive topics. And of course, I'm speaking from a man perspective. And things like body count and things of that nature, there are double standards that favor men in this particular area. That's just what it is. So double standards exist in all realms of life. There are some double standards that exist that favor women. For example, a man can't hit a woman and get away with it. A woman get mad, she can hit a man and get away with it. Or she won't be looked at and scrutinized as much as if a man hit a woman. It's a double standard. Nobody should hit nobody. And I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just saying, I'm just giving an example of double standards. Hit the like button as you come into the room, please. So yeah, it's double standards exist. And once again, I don't want nobody to be like, oh, you're gonna tell a woman to do her body, this and that. Please don't start that. It's just a discussion, right? And another thing, this is not meant to like bash anybody, bash men or bash women or anything like that, or make anybody feel less than. It's a discussion, and I'm speaking from a male perspective. I've been seeing a lot of this in the media. A lot of people been asking me about it. We're gonna break it down from my perspective, but in the short answer, it really just depends on the person. It really just depends on the person, on the guy. I would say generally, it does matter to most men. It does. Some men don't care. I got some homeboys who, they don't care about body count. They can care less. I have other homeboys where you need to be close to virgin. That's a little bit unrealistic, and if you're an adult, And I got some guys who, you can't be above a certain number. You know what I'm saying? They want to know, and they look at you a certain type of way. And that's what it is. So yeah, it really just depends on the person. I do think everybody, men and women, should be taking care of their bodies. I think men and women should be disciplined with their bodies and who they be with, because it's real. You need to be disciplined with your body and know what you're doing, who you're doing it with, and you should also know what your end goal is in life when you're dating. Because when the time comes, at least for most men, most men gonna want to have an understanding of what you've been through in life. If you decided to make that long-term decision with somebody, right? Most men gonna want to know what's up. Now, you're not obligated to tell anything to anybody about your business and your history and stuff like that. I'm speaking about commitment, marriage, and something long-term with somebody. Get to the point y'all discuss these things. And like I said, some people, it don't matter to some people. You also have to factor in age. Of course, the older you get, the more usually the more you're gonna be with, the higher it's gonna be the older you get. So that got to be taken into account. Older people, I would say upper 30s, not gonna matter as much as somebody who's younger in their like 20s, lower 30s, and things like that. Because you got to take into account everything. But generally, it does matter, at least to men. So I'm gonna try to break down 3 different categories. Like, just for example, I was understanding a certain outlook of what men should do and what women should do. I didn't always follow everything. I'm not saying to say that I'm Mr. Perfect. I was raised my understanding of things like that. Can y'all hear me okay? Because I know I got this road noise. If you can hear me, press 1. I just want to make sure I'm clear out there. You know what I'm saying? And we're doing this live a little early today because, like I said, I'm out here riding around. I'll be busy. Yeah, like I said, I was raised with a certain understanding, a certain mindset, certain rules to follow and stuff like that. And so I looked at women a certain way. I looked for a certain type of woman. I was breaking up every now and then. All right, y'all rock with me, man. Y'all rock with me. But I was raised to look for a certain type of woman and things like that. I was raised to look at what a woman does, look at her history, look at the decisions that she makes. If I want to link myself to this woman. And everybody should do that. If you're looking for a man, a husband, or whatever, you should look at a man the same way. Look at his decision making. Look at the things that he do, decisions that he's made, because it's gonna affect you. Now, that's not to say that we do things when we're younger, we grow, we learn, and we evolve. But at the same time, we are still responsible for our decisions. Now, I don't agree with people judging people. However, if somebody doesn't want to link with you based on your decisions, you gotta give them that. They just mean that person out for you. But I believe that's somebody for everybody. God got somebody for everybody. But yes, it does matter to a lot of men. Like I said, I was raised a certain way, and I used to date. I might still date, but women used to tell me stories, and I used to be a little surprised. And it was to me, based on how I was raised, and men like me, certain things and body counts was just unattractive to me. I didn't judge them, but it was just something I didn't want to be a part of. I just didn't. I didn't understand how a person can do so much in so little time. You know what I'm saying? That's just my perspective. And I know people gonna be in the comments after this video, saying all kind of stuff. But it's a real conversation, not a judgment conversation. You know what I'm saying? But when I talk to young women, as far as like counseling and things like that, and if it gets to that topic, I let them know, like, yo, be careful with your body. Your body is a temple. You only get one. Your body is sacred. And don't follow the stuff you see in the media about these feminists saying you can do what you want to do with your body. Yeah, you can, but it's not wise to do everything with your body. You only get one. And when you're young, you don't know as much as when you're older. So it's important to listen to reasonable adults, who've been there, who are wise and know things like that. I tell young women this, and I tell young men that too. I talk to a lot of young men about what they should do with their bodies and stuff like that, how to be disciplined and everything. Because a lot of them don't know. So if you don't know, you don't know. I mean, a lot of young men that don't know. I mean, a lot of young women that just don't know. Or they thought that, sex was the way. And I'm not trying to demonize sex. What I'm saying is you have to be disciplined with yourself. You have to know what you're doing. Because there are consequences to everything in life. But yeah, it matters. Now, if you a type of person where it don't matter to you, and you're just out there living, then that's your thing. You know what I'm saying? There can't nobody tell you. You know what I'm saying? That's your thing. If you're out there, you living, that's the life you live. Like, look, I'm out here, I'm living it up, doing what I gotta do, busting it down every night. You know what I'm saying? With whoever, that's what I want to do with my life. Hey, look, I may not agree with it, but I ain't gonna judge you. I like, look, more power to you. So I'm also directing this, because there's a lot of different ways we can go with this. I'm also directing this at people who you know, they want a little substance in their life or commitment and things like that, and they want to understand what decisions impact relationship. And this is one of them. It's a touchy subject, and it is more so touchy for women than it is for men. Like I said, it is a double standard, you know. And yeah, so like I said, I always use myself as an example. Because I'm the best person I know. So I used to meet women and this and that, and like I said, sometimes I met this one chick I was dating, and, you know, she had a very high body count. I was like, I was like, I was blown away, to say the least, you know. And I was like, okay, what was? I had to ask him real questions. I was like, what was you thinking? You know, in your past. I mean, what? You know, because in my experience, and my experience, and my perspective is just one. It's just mine, and I'm talking real sensitive because, you know, people sensitive out here. In my personal experience, especially when I was younger, women I dated with higher body counts, they had more trauma and drama in their life internally. They did. It could just be the women I've dated. You know what I'm saying? It could just be the women I've chose. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna put it on all women, but I'm just saying the ones I've dated, some of the ones I dated with high body count, you know, their hearts was a little compromised. It was hard to get through. They had a lot going on, you know, and I understand the spiritual connections to sex and things like that, and all those sex affects men and women differently. That's just what it is. There are double standards. There are different rules for men and women. It's not fair, and it's not the same. Because somebody can be like, "Oh, this is the same." It's not the same. And I'm not speaking from a finger pointing perspective. If I had a daughter, I would tell her this, and I have a son, I would tell him this. There are different rules, but there are consequences for everybody. You know, just because there are different rules doesn't excuse you from the consequences. And y'all know I'm speaking real. You know, my perspective, from my perspective, I just don't, you know, I don't feel like, I don't believe that women, especially younger women, should be with so many different sexual partners like that. I believe that it affects their psyche, it affects their emotional, it affects their physical. It does, because I've seen it firsthand in my own relationship. I've seen it with other people. I'm a minister. I talk to so many different men and women, and I'm telling you, in 90% of the people I've talked to, sex was determining, but sex was a major factor in the trauma and drama that they went in, and they be skipping over it, you know. And I be going right back to it. I'm like, look, you gotta do some healing from that sex and stuff like that, because a lot of people don't have a grasp of what sex does to their bodies and their minds and their emotional and their spiritual, you know. And a lot of people not making sound decisions, you know. Like I said, I'm not here to judge, I'm just here to educate. So when you do decide to do what you do, just do it from an informed place. You know, you with somebody or whatever, you and that person have an understanding of what it is, and that's all you can ask. If you and that person got an understanding of what it is, hey, you know, you making a sound adult decision. You know, that's basically all I'm saying. But just like men be out here being reckless sometimes, men be out here being reckless, although it affects men and women differently. The way it affects men, when men be with a whole lot of sexual partners, it doesn't immediately affect them like it immediately affects women, because men are hunters, they are conquerors. You know, they want to go out there and get their lions, they proud. Men are kind of built that way. Men, not saying it's right or wrong, but men they have the ability to be with a lot of different women and this and that. It's kind of in that nature. However, it does affect them, because a lot of times men, they just give way to their desires. Oh, I see this woman, I see that woman, she fine, she got a big butt, she got a big breast, oh, she look at her. They just want it. From a man's perspective, he automatically thinking physical, off top. That's just how men are. Men are visual. 9 times out of 10, they're not thinking emotional, they're not thinking relationship and stuff like that. They just see it. They want, like, you see food, I want to eat that food. They see it. So they can go on and on and on, but eventually it will break them down, because now it can make their hearts a little hardened, because now they're so accustomed to experiencing all these women, and now it's just another woman. That's how body count affects men. And ladies, you should look at that. I mean, if you date them, if you want to date a guy seriously, and y'all really getting serious, and y'all had a body count conversation or whatever, then talk about it. But be respectful to each other, and be honest. And because it affects men too. It affects a man's viewpoint on a woman, and what he wants to do with how he views that woman, how he views sex, because he may have been with a lot of different freaky women, and he get to you may not be that, and he's expecting what he's accustomed to. It's not all men, but it's a lot, and you find that you can't, I guess, satisfy and please him. But it's not necessarily as you can. It's just that he been to the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? He been, he done seen it all, and he want that from you. And he kind of putting you in a category that you're not in. That's how it affects men. Now some men have disciplined themselves enough to not do that, but it affects men that way. In my experience, from what I've seen, the high body count affects women different. It affects women emotionally. It makes a woman more attached to that man. It messes up the pH balance, everything in the body. Of course, the physical. If you want to, it does. That's why you have to be careful with it. And from my experience, what I've seen, like I said, that emotional and that mental. Like, just for example, if a woman really been down with a dude, she really like him, she might be in love with him, and they getting it in. That sex is designed to bring two people closer together. That's what it is. Whether you agree with that or not, whether you out here 3, 4, 5 a week or 1 a year, it's designed to bring two people closer together. So whenever you're doing it with a person, you bring it, you'll tie into that person, whether you realize it or not. And this affects women more than men from an emotional standpoint, because women are more emotional. Women are nurturers. Women are built to create, nurture, and things like that. And so their bodies, they tie their bodies to a man when they do it. It makes them more, it makes them closer to a man when that happens. And someone will disagree, because I dated a girl and she had a lot of sexual partners. And I told y'all some of this stuff before. I said, look, we having a lot of problems in our relationship, and from what our talks, from what I gather, I believe that your sexual past is affecting our relationship. Just from the things she told me, I knew I would put my life on this. I knew it did, because I was like, yo, you was young, you did a lot of stuff. I said, you told me yourself that you thought sex equals love when it comes to men. So, and I get it. For the ladies, I get it. Sometimes when you're young and men love sex, you will give yourself to a man, maybe repeatedly, or a different man, because you feel like that's gonna make him like you more. I get it. That's a very young thing for the most part. Now, a lot of women experience that. A lot of women. And they do a lot of things, and then they don't realize until later on. Or nobody's there. There's nobody necessarily telling them, like, hey, baby girl, that's not the way you go about it. This is not gonna make him like you no more, no less. I mean, it would make him like less. So I've seen it a lot. So the girl I was dating, she went through that. But like I said, I didn't judge her. I decided to date her, but we had some problems, and she never healed from those things. She never healed from those things, because she had a lot of. She did some dogs who were just there for that, and pump and dump, what I'm saying, and whatever. It affected her view on men. It made her very cold. She couldn't love properly. It was bad. It had a lot of healing to do. I'm a Virgo. We healers. That's what we do. We are fixers. We can't help it. So I spent a lot of time trying to heal her, trying to fix her. And maybe that was wrong, trying to do that. Maybe that wasn't my job to do. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But whatever the case was, I did it out of love, because I cared about it. I wanted to see her better. I wanted to see us better. and I was coaching her because like I said, my background is ministry. No, I'm not the authority on anything. Before people say stuff, I'm not the authority on anything. I don't got all the answers, but what I do know, I share. You know what I've learned, I teach and educate. So I was just sharing what I've learned with her and how to heal her, heal her better. I grew up in a spiritual home. I know how to get through some things, even if I go through my own stuff. So we went through some things, but it was very difficult, and ultimately though she couldn't get over it. She couldn't because it was too. She was that way since she was like 12, and it didn't matter. And I was like, man, I don't. To me, I was like, I don't want no woman with a high body count. Man, I just everybody different. I had a few experiences. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not a judgment or an indictment on you, because, like I said, there are some men don't care. Some men don't care. I got homeboys who marry, their wife had some questionable backgrounds and stuff like that. But to them, they got past what they got past, and that's all you can ask for somebody. It's about linking with somebody who understanding, and things like that. I know some women who, I'm gonna say this personally. I judge a person by their character and who they are. I do take that into account, like body count and stuff like that. I do take that into account, like sexual past. It's not just body count, but it's like sexual past and stuff like that. For me, I want to know. Some people are in your business. You a man trying to tell a woman what you do with somebody. Again, I gotta keep saying this. You can do what you want to do with your body. I'm not here to tell what a woman. I'm not here to tell what a woman to do with her body, but I am telling you, from a male perspective, what some of us look for and consider if we're looking for a wife, girlfriend, fiance, all that stuff. We consider these things, and that's a person's right. Just like you have that same right to do the same thing. You're looking for a man or whatever. To say, hey, you know what? I live my life a certain way. That ain't for me. That's your right. It's not about judging. It's about choosing what's best for you. But at the same time, things work out. But like I said, I know plenty of women got different things, what are going on. I know women who got kids who I would definitely date. Date and everything. You know what I'm saying? I dated women with kids, so it ain't about that. It's about just understanding if a person's a good person, they're a good person. For real. That's what it's about. But I am telling you that I'm just giving different perspectives of what some men think. Now if a man is disrespecting you about your past, I don't agree with that. Nobody should be saying, oh, you this, you that, because of what you've been through. I don't agree with that, because ain't nobody perfect. You know what I'm saying? Nobody perfect. And can't nobody judge nobody. And that's facts. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can judge anybody. So I never judged a woman I dated. Like I said, the woman I dated had high body count. I didn't judge her. We actually dated. We was in love, a lot of good stuff. But you have to understand what you're doing, especially the younger women. You don't have to keep. I mean, it affects you in the long run. In my opinion, it affects you. And I'm just giving y'all this to let you know. Think about the things you're doing. If you're a guy out there, you need to think about the things that you're doing, because you may not feel like it's affecting you as a man. You've been with all these different women over and over and over. Just different women every other week or whatever the case may be. It affects you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You need to be more disciplined, because that you're gonna meet a woman that you really want to be with, and you haven't been practicing discipline. And then you're gonna expect of her things that all these other women was doing, and that ain't her. I got homeboys who talk to me about it. I got married homeboys who got married and was in situations like that. And their marriage was struggling. I'm not married. I don't give marriage advice. But I'm a minister, and people talk to me. And I let them know before they talk to me, look, I'm not married. I'm not giving marriage advice. But I can talk to you if you want to talk to me as a brother. But I give disclaimers like, yo, I'm real with you. So some things I'm not going to be able to tell you. But if you asking me my opinion, my perspective, I'll give it to you, So, I always put that out there. But yeah, I got some married homeboys who they talk to me because we've been friends, we've been cool. I give my perspective and they trust me. And it's so men struggle too. It just affects me. I know we get on the women a lot. But see, I think the reason why we get on women a lot is because women are the incubators, women are the holders of life. You know what I'm saying? Women are the bearers of life. And it's very important. You know, it's just very important that you take care of your body, because you hold in the future. You know, that's just real. You hold in the future. And, you know, you got to be sound mentally, physically, and all that good stuff. And sex does affect that. It's just what it is. It affects you emotionally, spiritually, in every way. And we also take on different energies. Like, there's a channel out there, I forgot what the name of the channel was, but it's a channel, it's run by a black woman on YouTube. It's something about femininity or something like that. She has a large platform, but she talk about what things that women should do, feminine and sex and stuff like that. I watch it because I be want to learn. You know what I'm saying? I be want to learn. So I think y'all should check out that. When I find it, I'll put it in the comments afterwards when I do find it. But it's a very good channel. I'm sorry I don't know the name of it, but she educating ladies and men on things, you know, ladies can do to keep themselves, and about partners and energy and stuff like that. You know, it's real. And also, ladies, you know, you don't know what some of these guys have been through. All the different partners. Like I said, if you with somebody or got somebody, y'all got. Okay, I'm getting tied up because a lot of this stuff is conflicting with my ministry. You know what I'm saying? But I like to be real. I think y'all rock with me because I be real and honest. You know, I don't want to be fake. You know, I try to be transparent as I can. So, I mean, if you with somebody, got an agreement with somebody, or whatever the case may be, then that's what it is. You know him, and he knows you, and y'all doing what y'all do. You know, that's what it is. What I'm speaking to is discipline and understanding. You know, just being an adult about everything, because this stuff affects us, man, whether we know it or not. And don't get mad at the double standard, because, you know, it may not be right, but it is what it is, and it's where we live in. Like I said earlier, if a man slap a woman, he trash. You know, if a woman slap a man, oh, you know what happened? He must have did something. You know what I'm saying? If a man sleep with 10 women tomorrow, oh man, he a player. If a woman sleeps with 10 men tomorrow, oh, she's a slut. So, you know, that's what it is, man. You know, we both deal with these double standards in life. Okay. I'm trying to find my exit, y'all. But you do need to be disciplined. You need to be understanding what. Oh, that's what I was saying, ladies. A lot of these guys, if you've been with multiple partners and guys like that, you need to have a real good understanding of who you're dealing with. You know, because some of the guys have been through a lot of stuff. A lot of these guys out here are not healed, and you taking on their energy, whether you believe it or not. You know, whether you believe it or not, you taking on these guys' energy. These guys got trauma, you know, and all kind of stuff out here. And a lot of times, sex for men is a release. Well, I guess it is a release for everybody, but I'm just telling you how it affects men and women differently. I'm not a woman, but I'm gonna tell you what men go through. For a lot of men, you know, just generally, sex is a release. You know, it's a stress reliever and things like that. And so sometimes, you know, meet these guys, and these guys have been through hell and high water, and they putting all that stuff on you. You know, and if you don't have no type of connection with this guy, no type of understanding with this guy, and y'all doing that, you taking on a lot. And now, in your life, you frustrated, you stressed out about stuff. You know, you don't know what's affecting you, and that's what it is. I'm telling you because I know I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying everything I'm saying respectfully. So I hope y'all get me, because I know. Because every time I read the comments, sometimes people are, oh man, you know. But y'all get me. But yeah, it has an effect, and you need to know this stuff. But body count does matter. I know I have to get back to that point. It matters when trying to be in a relationship. It matters for marriage. It matters to some men more than others. For the men that it matters to, don't get upset with them, because some men, like I said, grew up like I grew up. They're very strict about that. I got guys that some guys are very strict about a woman's sexual past. Some guys have been like, they've been very disciplined with themselves. They haven't had a lot of sexual partners. They have a great understanding of sex. and they don't want a woman who has a lot of sexual partners. And that's their right. And they could meet a woman who they really like, and she had a lot of sexual partners. They would go the other way. They don't judge her, but I know at least 2 or 3 guys that's like that. And they really live a life like that. They live a real life like that. They don't be out here wilding. And that's what it is. So it's gonna affect you. And I also, like I said earlier, I know I'm repeating myself. I got some homeboys who, it don't matter at all. They're like, hey, yo, she can be with 3 million people. That's what I want. So we rock it. And that's what it is. That's their right. But you do have to know what's going on. But you have to know how it affects you internally, though. How it affects you on a personal level. How it affects your spiritual, your mental, and everything like that. These things are important, y'all. Because when you finally decide, you meet somebody, and y'all click, God done sent you that person. You want to be in the best spiritual and physical place possible that you can possibly be, so you can be ready for that person. And this goes for men and women. It really does. Also, a lot of different sexual partners affects your body. The shape. I'm being very PG. Because it's a family show. It affects it. It affects this stuff. So you got to be mindful of that. You have to be mindful of that. It physically doesn't affect men like that, because obviously our bodies are different. And let's not even get on STDs and stuff like that. That's self-explanatory. We ain't gotta go there. We already know that. But again, okay, another thing, you collect energy. Men do too. Men collect energy. They've been with a whole lot of sexual partners. That's why some men you may meet, he may seem like a good man. Oh, this is a good brother. He got a good job. He making money. He doing it. Everything's in place. He might not have no kids. You know what I'm saying? He is that dude. He likes you. And he got it going on. But something ain't right. Y'all just can't click. His spirit is off. His energy is off. He be like, what in the world? This dude perfect, but he ain't perfect. 9 times out of 10. I ain't say 9 times out of 10, but I would say more times than not. He might have a sexual past that he hasn't healed from. And it's affecting how he does stuff. That's what it is. In many cases. And that's why y'all can't click and get right. And he may not realize it. I'm telling you. A lot of my experience came now, but especially when I was in college. Because I can tell y'all, I was a drum major, I was a leader at my school, and I was also a chaplain of the school. So I met with a lot of my friends, and since I was on the marching band, like I said before, we had 300 people, and most of the marching band was men or males. You know what I'm saying? And so me being a leader, I used to talk to my brothers all the time, and we in the prime of our life. You in college, you young, hormones raging. And so a lot of guys used to come talk to me all the time, you know what I'm saying? And we were walking together. We stumbling and walking together. We all trying to figure it out together. We all doing it, so it wasn't just all, I'm Mr. Perfect. Because I had my blocks too, my stumbling block, and we was all there for each other, but I learned so much about myself, about males, about the things that we go through, the things that we do. Things that affects us, things that we like, mistakes, everything. I learned a lot of that stuff because I experienced it with my brothers. You know what I'm saying? And it was a learning experience. And at the same time, growing in ministry, trying to follow God, and just figuring this thing out. And so yeah, I learned a lot. But it's real, man. It's real. So I guess a lot of what I'm trying to say is, man, it does matter. But what if you have had a lot of sexual partners? What you do now, you can't go back and undo it. I know some people may be feeling like, oh man, that isn't that. Let me tell you, there's somebody for everybody. All I'm saying is, these things does matter to some men. But if you meet a guy and he ain't with that, then that just means that's not a guy for you. That's all it means. It's not. It doesn't mean that you this, you that. That's just not the guy for you. You know, God got somebody for everybody. You gotta understand that God. I don't want to get too preachy on here, but God is a restorer. God is a renewer. You know what I'm saying? God is God of all. God will give you and send you somebody that's perfect for you. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I got family members who've been through the most. You know what I'm saying? And God gave them somebody. You know what I'm saying? I got family members, friends, everything. You know, we got our own. I'm telling y'all what I know. So you gotta, you gotta trust that. And you know, the past is the past, but you have to be, you do have to be realistic. I guess to the younger ladies and to the younger guys, you need to be disciplined because this stuff is gonna affect you long term. You know, because as young men and young women, there's not a lot of sex education going on out here for young men or all women, and that's just the truth. And they out there wilding. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was in grad school a few years ago, and so y'all know I went to ITC, so the Interdenominational Theological Center, so in Atlanta, and it's a part of the AUC, the Atlanta University Center, which consists of Clark Atlanta, Morris Brown, Morehouse College, and Spelman. You know, all that's right there. So when I was in grad school, I had housemates, but my housemates were undergrad, right? And so I used to sit there and talk to them all the time because we're just different generations. You know what I'm saying? I'm millennial. They like Gen this, Gen that. You know what I'm saying? X or whatever. And so I used to listen to what it was going through. And, you know, I was trying to pay for grad school, this and that. They used to call me Pops because I was the oldest person there. You know, but he just comes to me for advice. We just talk, you know, be real. I didn't judge them, but some of them went through a whole lot of sexual experiences, guys and girls. I was like, wow, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all been through that. They like 21, 22, like for real? You been through that? You did that? Like, dang, bro. Dang, sis. Like, for real. Like, whoa, I couldn't believe it. Like, wash out my ears. You know what I'm saying? Man, put a rated R sticker on this thing or something. I mean, I'm just like, but I was giving them game. I'm like, look, man, you know, y'all got to be disciplined with yourself. You know, first start with self. You know, because it does, it just affects you. It does, man. Yo, whatever you do to your body, in whatever realm, it affects you. You drink water, it affects you. You eat food, it affects you. You stay in the sun all day, it affects you. You sit in the AC all day, it affects you. You walk in the grass all day, it affects you. So if you have sex with multiple people, it affects you. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And so again, this is not judgment. This is education. This is education. Because even grad school and seminary, you know, we had a whole class on like sex and this and that and different perspectives, and it was a lot of talk going on. It was a lot going on. So y'all can see my eyes, man. I'm here now. There was a lot going on. It was some interesting discussions, you know. And yeah, but it does matter to some people. To some people, it don't matter. But I do believe it affects your spirit, man, your spirit woman, the person on the inside. I believe this. I believe this. You know, because I've seen it. I can get real deep if I want to. I might make some more videos about this, but I think there's more education that need to be had out here, because what we see in the media is misleading, man. Of course, we had and have the videos that I'm talking about, the male videos, the rap videos. I'm talking about the rap because I'm black, hip hop, and hip hop came from black people, so I'll talk about stuff that affects us. You know, for years and years, all you see is men doing this with women in the videos. So as a young man, it makes you want to do this. It makes you want to have this. It makes you want to get all the women. You know, because you naturally, as a man, as a young man, especially like high school, you're going through puberty, your hormones raging. Then you look at these videos, it's booty everywhere. They having fun. They got money. You know, it's women. You want to experience that. You want all the women. And the message is, you know, get all the women you can, pump and dump, go about your business, have fun. They are objects. That's the message. They're not saying that, but that's the message. We know that. You know. And on the flip side, it's telling ladies like, use your body to get what you want, da 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 da. But nothing is saying discipline. Nothing is saying education. Nothing is saying this how to think this thing affect you. Nothing is saying you won't get your heart broke. Nothing is saying you won't get somebody kicking in your door because you messing with their girl. Nothing is saying you breaking somebody's heart, now they coming to shoot you. Nothing. They're not talking about that. All they're talking about is the gratification. You know. Just like the food commercial, you can eat all you want, but they ain't talking about the obesity. They ain't talking about the diabetes, the high sugar. You know what I'm saying? They ain't talking about it. They ain't talking about how good it's gonna taste. It's gonna taste good, baby. You know, you're gonna be full. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? But they don't tell about the consequences. I'm here to tell you about the consequences. You know. So fellas, discipline yourself. Know who you with. Know that even though it affects women differently, it affects you too. You know. And ladies, be disciplined. Be more have a better understanding of who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Because body's sacred. You know. You got the goods. That's what it is, man. Yeah. But y'all, I gotta go. I'm out here. I hope y'all enjoyed my TED Talk. A little inspiration. And don't be in the comments afterwards saying all kind of crazy stuff, because y'all know this was very respectful and educational. But it's gonna be somebody. It's gonna be somebody. Here we go, the man telling them what to do. You know. But anyway, y'all be blessed, stay blessed, and rock with your boy. Like, share, subscribe.